guess what? We're going to give you, for those who've stuck around, an extra added benefit. We're now going to talk about, ta-da, the Startup Founders Tackle Kit. If you were a fisher person, you wouldn't go out fishing with your bare hands, right? You're going to go out and you want to put a hook in the water and a lure and you want to catch your fish. And to do that, you have your tackle kit, which is going to have all the tools in it that you're going to need to find your fish. And so as a startup founder, you are fishing for investments. And so you need to have your tackle kit as well of stuff that you have with you effectively to lure in your investors. And so I've divided this into three big sort of groups, right? The first group we'll call the absolute essentials, like your American Express card, don't leave home without it. If you don't have everything on this list, then you're not ready for fundraising yet. Get it. Not very complicated, not very expensive. Get it and go do it, right? First one is, what is your one sentence tagline? Hi, I am, eBay for dogs. I am, whatever. I am something. We are a market or liquidity platform for commercial real estate. We are a network that supports entrepreneurs and angel investors. We are whatever you're doing. You got to have a one-line answer to the question, what do you do? Right? It's also get a logo for your company. Why? Not because you're fancy, but because it provides something visual for an investor to remember. Oh, I've seen this logo, bing, like Pavlov's dog. They'll remember you. So you can get logos made for free at a whole lot of places these days. Next, something that you might think is very old-fashioned. I don't know what I'm talking about, and that's a physical business card. Trust me, I'm an angel investor. If I ask you for your card or contact information, yes, you can do something and share me a digital card, which we'll talk about later, but a physical card, you want to have it. Even better, if we can combine both and you put your QR code on a business card, then I can scan it into my system and I can add you to my contacts and I have a physical thing in front of me to remind me. So have your business cards done with places like Moo and so on. You can get them done for free or a few dollars. You can do them yourself. It's worth having around there to do it. Then if somebody says, or if you're going to introduce me or ask me to introduce you to somebody else, I need to know what the company's about. So you need a short one paragraph description, right? That clearly explains exactly what the company is doing and effectively why I should want to meet you. This is what you'll ask your friend or our mutual contact to forward to me over here. So you have to have a one, paragraph example. Then I mentioned LinkedIn before. LinkedIn is really helpful on the one hand when you're looking to connect up to investors and get access to them, but it's also useful the other way around because the first thing I do when somebody pitches me is I check their LinkedIn and I say, what's the background? Do we have anybody in common? Where have they been? What companies? What's their track record? So keep your LinkedIn profile up to date because it's very important. All right. Next, you finally got me on the phone, or you've got me in a cocktail party, or you've got me in the proverbial elevator, which means that you need to have a 30-second elevator pitch. This is a verbal pitch, which basically says, "Hey, I'm David Rose. We're doing da 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 da." And 30 seconds is a very short period of time. You have to be able to tell me your whole business in 30 seconds clearly and concisely. So if there's one thing you're going to memorize, it's going to be your 30-second pitch. I should be able to wake you up in the middle of the night, poke you in the belly, and have you pop up and give me your 30-second pitch. That's going to be your primary stock and trade that you're going to use to get people interested. And what do you get them interested in? You get them interested in having one more meeting with you where you get to give them the full pitch. That 30 seconds was effectively the teaser to try and get them in. And then when you get that meeting, you've got a pitch that's typically 15 to 20 minutes. I'm using 18 minutes here because that's the length of a TED Talk, which is the average human expansion thing there. It's typically a computer-based presentation done in PowerPoint or Keynote for if you're a Mac person, or Prezi if you're sort of cool. But the common denominator is typically PowerPoint, or if you're sending around PDF. This 18-minute pitch, we're going to have at Mission Control, we have pitch practice sessions where we work with people. And every week we hear people's pitches and we give them real feedback from real investors. And so this is where you're first explaining your business with all the component parts to an investor. However, you don't just do one presentation. You do 3 presentations, the same presentation in 3 different ways. First of all, you have a short version. This is a very short, teaser version that you're going to send ahead. If somebody says, "Oh, send me your deck and I'll decide if I want to come," right? You don't send them the thing you're going to speak to. You send them a very short version called a teaser. I call this one to throw. When they say, "Okay, great, come and pitch me," then you come in and then you have your full presentation. And this is 18 minutes, but it's very oriented around you being a speaker. This is speaker support material for you to do. And then after you leave, you send them one, you leave behind one, and this is the one to go. This is your detailed deck. This might have the appendices, it might have more text on it. This is all the information because you're not going to be there to talk through it. So the deck has to stand by itself, right? And so that's what the absolute essentials are. You better know what your company is with a quick tagline and a 1 sentence and a 30-second elevator pitch. You want to have ways they can reach you, a card with a logo and a QR code, a LinkedIn personal profile so they can check you out over here, and your basic pitch deck. And that's what you need. And if you have that, you can go out and start pitching now. But you really want to maximize what you're doing and have a better shot at it, then you want to have stuff you want to add, the really good stuff to have, right? And these are things that don't take a ton of time, but they can really add utility to what you're looking to do. Well, first of all is whatever your business is, you better have a website, right? Because if I am looking at you and you don't even have a website in 2026, I mean, there may be a great reason for it. I'm not sure I can figure out what one is, right? You may not need one, but have a website, even if it says confidential or, coming, you don't want to have coming soon. You want to show that you're a professional, that people can reach you. And if they go to your site and your URL, you're there. We talk
Well, I
about
want to make a
business
quick
cards.
comment in here on something that we've realized practically. Almost all the startup credit providing programs are now looking for websites, and they use that as a refusal. So if you go and try to get AWS credits and you're, Bob at mycompany.com, and they automatically go to mycompany.com, and if it's under construction or 404, they instantly reject you.
That's a great addition, Ryan. Thank you. So yeah, you bet. Okay, so now this is now switched from really good have. I'm going to next version of this. I'll put that on the must-have page because you must have a site or you will find yourself automatically dinged. Not a good thing, right? A digital business card. We talked about that before. In addition to the physical one, I have a whole lot on my desk, but I don't really refer to them. I look people up on my phone. And so you want to have a digital version that you can easily share without paper, that I can scan with my QR code, maybe attach if it's an touch if it's an NFC kind of thing. But this is a way for me to get your information stored directly into my contact system, right? In the same way that you have a website, you probably want to have a LinkedIn professional profile for your business. Set up a company website for your business on LinkedIn, because this will again let you post videos and blogs and your thoughts there, and it gives me more background. It tells me this is a serious company there. But in the same way that I'm checking out the company, I'm checking out you. So it would be surprising to me, probably in this day and age, people didn't really have a Twitter site or something, Twitter handle. You don't have to. It's again a good to have. Some people don't have a lot of social media sites. Some people have overkill and every site known to man. But I'm going to typically, check out your history, your tweet history. Is this a crazy person? Are they doing rational things? Are they having really interesting insights and so on? All important. You want to have a headshot. Your headshot will be used all the time. Anytime you present at a conference or submit to somebody or whatever, get a professional headshot. Look like you know what you're doing, because you're going to be asked for it, right? And similarly, if you ever participate in a campaign, either a Kickstarter campaign or a pitch competition or a hackathon or whatever, people want to know who you are, right? And so therefore have a short bio. Better than that, take the time, start with your full long bio, and then cut it down because some people want 20 words, some people want 100 words, some people want 500 words, rather than edit it each time. Just have a routine set that you can pick the appropriate one over there for. Something that I've found over the last few years to be very, very useful is a Calendly page for automatic scheduling. And so, there's nothing worse than spending back and forth time. Can you do this day? No. Can you do that? No. Can you do this? No. Can you do that day? Having a Calendly link lets people see your calendar effectively and be able to choose the time that they want to meet with you, and that's great for you. Anything that makes it more convenient for me is better for you, right? When they meet with you in 2026, it will likely be a Zoom call, right? Or an online call. So here's a pro tip. You have your own Zoom professional business Zoom account, which you control. You know your setup. You know what it's like. You control the audience, and you tie it to your Calendly link. So when people schedule a call with you, it automatically populates with your whole Zoom call and everything else. And so you're then in control about it, right? Other social media accounts, including Instagram and WhatsApp increasingly becoming a business communications tool, Instagram becoming a marketing channel where people are going to look and see what you're doing. When you get to start applying actually to organized groups like angel groups, it's very helpful to have a one-page overview, a standardized thing. Gust will actually print that out for you from the profile that you create on Gust. And then you'll have, when you are in a pitch competition, typically they're not going to do a whole 18-minute pitch. They'll typically look for a 5-minute quick pitch. And so there will be multiple cases where you're going to be asked to give a quick pitch, and you might as well do it up front. Take your 18-minute pitch down, throw out the stuff you don't need, like the competitors and the downsides and the financials and so on. And a 5-minute pitch is basically the good parts from your bigger pitch there, right? We talked about Gust multiple times. Create a Gust profile for your company. Whether or not you're mission control, whether or not you use Gust Launch, doesn't matter, because having a profile on Gust, it's a place for you can point random angel investors to. If you see somebody, it's like a deal room for your company for angels. But also, when you go look through our list and you want to apply to New York Angels, click a button and boom, your profile automatically becomes the application to their platform. So that's a really good idea as well. So if you have this set in addition to the must-haves, you'll really be in a comfortable position to raise funds. But then if you want to go over the top and you want to be really super professional and do this as a serious business, as I hope you might want to do, people who are really serious founders, in addition to all of the above, they got a bunch of other things out there, right? A short 60 to 90 second explainer video. You'll typically put this on your Gust homepage so people can see it. It might be on your site. It might be linked to your cards. Really cool. And this is where you can do a product demo, and I can get a handle on you pitching and get my read on you as a person. So all of that is interesting, right? On the other hand, your pitch is something else. So the first one is a explainer demo. That's the question. What is your product, right? That's where you'd have, typically on your website and you're submitting when somebody says, what do you do? The second video, which is your 2-minute video pitch, this is something else. You'll be uploading this to various sites when you can't go in person. This is your stand-in. It's not a long-winded kind of thing. 2 minutes, you can cover any business in 2 minutes, concisely, clearly, with your slides. Not going to be 100 slides. This may be 4 slides or 5 slides max, right? But you want to have a video pitch. You also want to have an executive summary. People who want to say, oh, tell me what you do. This is an expanded version of your one-pager with additional stuff in there. Projections. It's all about making money, right? It's all about the funds. And so therefore, how are you somebody going to know what they should be expecting as returns unless they know what your projections are? And so this is where you're going to be rationally optimistic and tell me how much money you're going to make over the next several years and explain to me why you're going to make it. And that's why one of the best way to do this is we have a partner called Forecaster, and we do weekly sessions with Forecaster where they walk you through how you develop your own forecast for your company. They also have a platform which is really cool, which effectively maintains your financial forecast work as a living interactive thing that you can share with your potential investors, and they can actually see what's going on. So you want to have that. You want to have a business plan, not the big 40-page McKinsey thing, but what's known as a lean business plan these days. There's a great site, leanplan.com. The book, business software business plans by Tim Berry. Great stuff. The cap table shows who owns what in your company. When you get to due diligence and you're getting ready for the investment, this is absolutely going to be required. Might as well do it now. Have a clean up front. We talked about NFX Signal. They give you the opportunity, in addition to viewing and finding investors, you can create what they call a brief, which is a typical way of VCs looking at what you're doing. And then you can store it there. When you find somebody who is a match for you, you can share your NFX brief with them. It always helps to make sure that your profiles are kept current on sites where people would look, such as Crunchbase. If you're going to do a lot of conference presentations or trade shows, stuff like that, really helpful to have a media room where you could put together, maybe some blog posts, your headshots, logos, company description at different lengths, your speaker introduction if you're being called on to speak somewhere. Maybe if you have a product that's an online product, a SaaS product, for example, you want to have a demo account, so if it's self-explanatory, so I can walk through and try it myself instead of having to provide. Video conferencing, is very helpful when you are presenting to your pitch via Zoom or even having a conference. You want to look well lit with a clean background, hopefully with your company's name. There are all kinds of tools. So having somebody, with an unintelligible Zoom call with not a good mic, they're sitting 6 feet away and they're in the dark and they're backlit, does not give a good impression, right? So it's really not expensive. You just have to figure out what to do, and there are a lot of places to help you to set up lights, set up a microphone, and so on and so forth. As you go and talk to all these investors, you want to track them. You can track them on a Word doc or a spreadsheet, but it's much better to use something designed for this purpose, which is a CRM, customer relationship management platform. And there are a number of CRMs designed just for the funding process. We do things with HubSpot. They've got they're a major platform that has a version for startups. Founder Suite has another one. So check out having a CRM. It'll make your life infinitely easier. If you were to apply for Apple, for example, as a developer, and in many cases, as you begin to apply for credit or bank loans, you need to have what's known as a DUNS number from Dun& Bradstreet, which basically is like your company's credit report for your sort of financial health. And so a lot of companies will look at that and look you up for it. So you might as well create one yourself, make sure it's all kept accurately, and so on and so forth. In terms of once you have investors, keep them up to date. You'll do this by it's helpful to have a dashboard where they can check in at any point and see how you're doing. It's not public. It's limited only to the investors, but it gives them an idea of what's going on. And then if you really want to do this right, and I learned this lesson about 20 years ago, it was really, really paid off. We were getting funding for Gust. Set up a full-on data room, a full deal room with everything that an investor might possibly want. And they will give you lists of the kind of questions they'd have. We can give them to you. I think we have them online somewhere that we can show you. But basically, when you're in full due diligence, they'll be asking for a ton of stuff. And if you have all this information already there in this data room, and you just give them shared access to it, you will come across looking like a super rock star. So if you do all this stuff, you actually have a decent chance at getting your investment deal. And that, my friends, is not the end of be all, go home, you get the trophy. That's actually the beginning of the round, right? The beginning of your next round, the beginning of the next phase in your company's existence. So here are my final tips, and then we'll end it for today, which is, what do you do after you've closed your round? And all too many people just go poof and disappear. I never hear from them again. They ghost me, having gotten my money. That does not make me feel good about this company. Instead, once you've got the first wire in, say thank you. This is, we're looking forward to having you. You want to communicate with your lead investor, especially if your lead investor was really helpful in doing this. Something that I had not seen done, but I would love, the first founder who does this, I would really love to see. Have a closing dinner. Don't take me out to some fancy schmancy, super fancy restaurant, but just a local neighborhood place. The core investors who made this happen, if they're angels or whatever it is, they'd be honored that you're asking, and it lets people meet each other, and it puts you in the position of a host. Good thing all the way around, right? Your cap table should be clean. You should know who is invested, how much, all your material there. You can do this with your accountants. You can do this with Gust. As part of Gust launch, we create your cap table for you. You have access to that. You want to be up to date with all of your investors all the time. So keep them informed. Again, you can do that through Gust. You can send them quarterly emails. You want to get up a regular cadence of communication with them. Most important thing, and it probably should be number one, never, ever, ever lie. If you ever tell me anything that's untrue, you are, I mean, completely dead to me, right? So not worth doing. Always, always, always tell the truth. You don't have to, make everything, oh, the end of the world is coming, but tell the truth calmly, not emotionally, bad things as well as good things for there, right? Because if you only share the good things and then bad things sneak up and happens and you need more cash, it's going to be problematic for me if this is the first time you're ever talking to me, right? So give me an ongoing, log of what's going on, and have a shareholder meeting. Once you require by Delaware law to have one once a year, and you can do it by Zoom, and have all the appropriate notarization and stuff and signature stuff happening. But shareholders meeting shows you're being responsible and you are speaking to your shareholders, right? Once you have shareholders, angel investors, use them. I consistently am blown away by how many people don't use me. I'd be delighted to tell people about your company, to give out your promotional stuff or whatever, right? Let me know how I can help you. Make it a point to ask your investors, hey, I'm looking for this person. I'm looking for this thing. What would you recommend about X, Y, or Z? Use me, and I'm delighted to do it, right? And one of the things that after you've invested, and if in this, after you've taken their investment in, make it a point to give them deal flow, right? Remember I told you the best kind of introduction is from one of your portfolio CEOs. So you keep your eyes open, become a scout for them, and that will help cement the relationship if you bring them another really great deal out there, right? So you're sending them deal flow, and then in addition to keeping in touch, be nice. This is like, human relationship management 101. Drop them a note if you have some, either products that you could send them or promotional things if you're giving away, at your trade show booth, a coffee cup holder or something. Send one to your investors. Thought you'd like to have this. Costs you virtually nothing, and it's a cool thing. It shows keeping, I'm top of mind. It shows, I will put this on my desk so people will learn about you. So, do that, right? So there you go. That's the Founders Toolkit and how you should handle things with your investors to get to the closing. And the goal for this whole thing is that after the closing, we're ongoing part of the team. We're helping you get there, helping you get your next round. You eventually get to an exit. We come there and look at your amazing success and clap for you and applaud as you go public on NASDAQ. And so with that, I will just lead you to a few things, right? In terms of resources, this is will be the video for this talk. Right now, that link is going to an older version of this talk, so we'll update that with a newer version. This one is for how to pitch a VC, which is an expanded version of my TED Talk, which had 2 million views. This goes into detail about how you do your presentation software. This is the current version of the startup checklist, which you can get right now, and then upgrade. Hopefully that will lead you eventually to the new version as well. And then finally, Mission Control that Ryan and I have been mentioning throughout this is the program that we have. No harm, no foul, no muss, no fuss, and you get all the best advantages of an online accelerator, of working with Ryan and me and our team. Really cool, interesting program. So that's what we're doing. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful time and hope to see you in Mission Control.
Excellent, David. Thank you so much. Thank you for that added content. We'll probably split these up into two videos and put them up on YouTube. Might take a day or two now that I think about it because some of the processing time takes a while. But emails will go out, resources will be linked. Thank you all for hanging out. I mean, talk about retention, David. I think we had nobody left after the other 30 minutes. So this has been fantastic. We'll be back with more programming every week. And we'll get David back for something new that I think you and I were thinking about that has eclipsed my mind. But there's new content in the works as well. And this has been just awesome to see the iterations on this. And thank you everybody for the chat. I know we didn't have time for Q&A, but we basically did it live in the chat, and that was a lot of fun. David, as always, thank you for your time. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Good luck with your startups, and we will see you soon.